Hello. So in this one I'm going to teach you very simply how to use internal force. Internal force is an interesting thing because it's like, what can you use it for? Well, it's really up to you. But if you've ever seen the 1-inch punch or the Fajin, Fajin, which is kind of like where there's this old Chinese masters will just touch someone or push them and they'll fly across the room, and it's crazy. Or if you like Chinese martial art movies, I saw one where this old man got punched in his kind of thoracic region, the chest, and then he pushed forward, and the younger fellow who punched him got pushed on his back. It's basically thrown with the force. So, in some way, you can think of internal forces like you're applying or using chi to something. So that might help you if you're trying to study old texts or read, wuxia comics or anything. But anyway, how do you actually do it? So it's very, very, very simple. It relies on literally using the internal force of your body. So your arms and legs are the external force, the limbs. Imagine if you're trying to throw a punch using just the legs. You twist with the legs and you throw the arm, and then you tense your body, or you tense the fist or whatever. Technically, you basically tense the whole kinetic chain, and it's a bit of a joke, but this ain't a punching tutorial. If you wanted to apply, so that was purely external force. Similarly, if you lifted up a weight, you are using your legs or your arms. Even if you're doing like a crunch, or if you're using a full body motion like a clean and jerk, we still call that external strength. So the external muscles of the body is external strength. Now internal is the internal muscles. So that means, imagine if you punch, but you use the belly. So the belly is the region of internal strength. Now the pelvic floor, so you've got to have a decent enough pelvic floor, or you actually hurt yourself doing this. So the anus and the perineum muscles, pretty much, and the lower belly, the bladder muscles. So basically the muscles to make sure that you don't shit yourself and you don't piss yourself. You gotta, kind of, they're the floor. So that's the base of internal force, right? Then the breath is the above. The breath kind of allows you to pull in pressure and like lightness. So that's the above energy. You think that's like the yang, and the yin is that pelvic floor base. In the middle of the belly is the mixture, the main zone of it. So using internal force, all you have to do is tense the internals, tense the belly. Literally, that's it. It's using the internal force of the internal, or the guts, essentially, of the whole body. And as I said, it's a bit of that mixture of the breath and the lower things. They're like the head and the tail, but the middle is the body, which is the belly. So if you did that punch, you just do this. Imagine you do external force punch, which is just moving and tensing muscles. Internal force punch is see, you don't even need to use movement to do internal force punch. You just put your fist against something and you just I don't know if you you heard a little shake. I gotta make sure not to push my monitor my monitor off. It's on a bunch of books, so I don't want to do it too strong. But I rattled the desk, is because using internal force is, as I said, center around that belly, and then you compress, you breathe out, it's like a forceful exhale, and as I said, the muscles, to make sure that you don't defecate, essentially urinate, you're using them as the floor. So you're using them kind of as the you keep them a little bit tense, a little bit like supported, because if you don't, it can cause pain and problems there. And then you center around the belly and you tense, you kind of release that pressure in there, you tense in, or use the force from the belly. And that's how you do things like Fajin, yeah, if you look that up, it kind of means bursting power, releasing power. So that's very simple, an idea of internal force and external force. External being the external kind of muscles, internal kind of being, as I said, it's using chi, so it's using pressure or air, air pressure essentially, which is inside the body, inside the belly, is that air pressure that you build up. So that's internal force. Now, this isn't just used in martial arts, for example. You can use it for the voice. Just say if you make a sound like an ah, and then you use the internal force. This is how you can practice it. So you go ah. Yeah, I hope that wasn't too loud. I can see this dipping into the red. So my voice got really loud. I actually couldn't control it very well. I was trying to go slowly up, but when I started to push the belly and kind of compress it in, compressing that internal pressure, the internal air out of the belly, to use that as power. Instead, if I use my throat, that's me tensing my throat as much as I can to make that louder. So as I showed, the voice and martial arts and many other things you can use this internal force for. And that's what we kind of cultivate to some extent with meditation. We cultivate this pressure, this they call it chi, the kind of air or atmosphere in the body. I'm not sure what else I have to say, but I think I pretty much covered it all. But if you have any questions or anything, just post them. Otherwise, so you enjoyed. And goodbye.